Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. That Supreme Brahman is infinite, and this conditioned Brahman is infinite. The infinite conditioned Brahman proceeds from the infinite Supreme Brahman. Then through knowledge, realizing the infinitude of the infinite conditioned Brahman, it remains as the infinite unconditioned Brahman alone. Om, peace, peace, peace. We are studying the Ishopanishad, and what is going on is really the heart of Vedanta. The central teaching of Vedanta is oneness, oneness of all existence. Last two classes we saw these wonderful mantras. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmanyeva anupashyati sarvabhutastam cha atmanam sarvabhuteshu cha atmanam tato na vijugupsate. Seeing all beings in the self, the enlightened one sees all beings in the self as their own self, and sees the self in all beings, and therefore does not hate, does not reject anyone. And then the seventh mantra was Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhut vijanata tatra komoha kashoka ekatvam anupashyata. The vision of oneness, the realization of oneness, that at the moment of enlightenment, one sees that all beings have become your own very self. Become means they are your own self. We regarded them as being separate. We regarded ourselves as being a unit in a collection. I am only this, and everybody else and everything else is separate from me. This is falsified. You realize there is an underlying oneness. It's not a unity. Sometimes I see translated as unity of Atman and Brahman. Unity is two things becoming one. But this is identity. It is literally the same thing. So you realize the oneness, the identity of the Jiva and Brahman. And the result is, for such a one, where is any more sorrow? Where is there any more delusion? All right. Now we go on to the 8th mantra. This is the climax of the Vedantic portion of the Isha Upanishad. What do I mean by that Vedantic portion of the Isha Upanishad? Remember, this is a remarkable and a rather difficult Upanishad in one sense, because in the very beginning, Shankaracharya makes this distinction. He says that, in his view, half of the Upanishad is about Vedanta, about realizing that you are Brahman, about moksha, about enlightenment. And the other half is actually about karma kanda, about leading a ritualistic, devotional, what a devout Vedic life would be. So he divides the Upanishad neatly into two parts. The first part is Atma Jnana, the nature of the self, by knowing which one gets enlightenment and freedom, knowing which is enlightenment and one gets freedom from sorrow. That first part is coming to a conclusion now with the 8th mantra. From the 9th till the 18th mantras, the remaining part of this Upanishad, Shankaracharya sees it as referring to something else. That is, for those who cannot attain to this enlightenment, for them, a devout, ethical, pious life in this world leading to attainment of the highest heaven after death. This is the goal for those who cannot attain to this non-dual enlightenment. And for them, the remaining mantras are there. That is Shankaracharya's view. We have seen earlier also, we'll come back to it. Swami Vivekananda and like many other commentators, they have all different views of how to handle the remaining mantras, which are going to come after this. Swami Vivekananda and some others see it as one flow, not two parts. All of it referring to enlightenment and the life after enlightenment. Anyway, those are issues which we will deal with later. But right now, the climax, what is the topic? What is the nature of the self? What is the Atman? What is Brahman? Who are we actually? That Atma Swarupa Varnanam, that the description of the real nature of the self, that is going to reach its climax now. Mantra number 8. Saparyagat shukram akayam abranam asnaviragam shuddham apapaviddham kavir manishi paribhut swayambhu yatha tathyato arthan vyadadhat shashvatebhya samabhyah. He is the all-pervasive, pure, bodiless, without wound, without sinews, taintless, untouched by sin, omniscient, ruler of the mind, transcendent, self-existent. He has duly allotted the respective duties to the eternal years, that is, to the eternal creators called by that name. Beautiful mantra. What does it mean? And very comprehensive. You can see all of later Vedanta, Dvaita Vedanta, texts, commentaries, sub-commentaries, independent texts composed, all on the basis of mantras, this mantra and other mantras like that, talking about what is the Atman, what is Brahman, pure, that it is not the body, mind, it is pure consciousness. All of it comes from mantras like this one specially. So what's the nature of the self? Saparyagat. The first word used is Paryagat, means all pervasive, not limited in space. So we normally think of ourselves as being located in space. I am this much only, and the rest of the universe is outside this skin, spread out across. But here, the real nature of the self is not located in space. Rather, space is an appearance in consciousness. So just as, for example, in our dreams, when we wake up from our dreams, in our dreams, we seem to be located in space. I am here, and my friend whom I'm talking to is here. So there is a space, I am here, and he is there. But when I wake up, I realize I was not really located there. Rather, the entire dream world was located in me, or more precisely, not even located in me, appeared in my mind, dreaming mind. So the dream world and the space of the dream world was all an appearance in the dreamer's mind. Similarly, Paryagat, all pervasive. All pervasive does not mean that here is the world, vast space, light years and light years, and the Atman is some mysterious entity which spreads out like smoke or like incense across, smeared across the universe. Not like that. Rather, Atman is existence itself. So space, which is an existent entity, has to be in existence, let us put it this way. Or Atman is consciousness itself. And space, which is experienced in consciousness, is an appearance in consciousness. And therefore, the Atman as existence, as pure consciousness itself, is all pervasive. And very poetically, it has been put here, Paryagat, which has gone everywhere. Literally, if you translate English, it has gone everywhere. It's a nice way of talking about all pervasiveness, which has gone everywhere. Gone everywhere, not in the sense of traveled everywhere, has lots of miles, traveling miles in airlines, not in that sense, gone everywhere. Rather, it is everywhere, or everywhere appears in it. Saparyagat. So Shukram, that self, and remember, it's talking about us. Shukram means white or pure. Here it refers to pure consciousness. So Shukram here is the luminosity. Shankaracharya says, Shuddham Jyotishma Deeptim Jyotishma Deeptiman Ityarthaha. So here the word Shukram means awareness, consciousness. The self is that because of which we have all experience. Consciousness enables us to know everything. Everything that is known because of consciousness. It is this very consciousness shining upon the mind which gives us experience of our thoughts, that I am thinking, that I am remembering, that I understand or I do not understand, then the activities of my senses, this very consciousness because of which I have the experience of seeing, of hearing, of smelling, of tasting, of touching. So all the sensory modalities, same consciousness, gives us such extraordinarily different experience. Imagine, seeing is a kind of such a vivid experience. Hearing is another vivid experience, quite different, but both are enabled by consciousness. Then further, activities in the body, the sensory, the motor organs, the activity of walking, the activity of grasping with the hands, the activity of speaking, all the motor organs, all these are also experienced because of the same consciousness. Shukram, the shining one. And then they experience the bodily experience that I am, here is this physical body, I'm experiencing myself as embodied. That's also because of that fact of consciousness. And then the whole world, which I'm experiencing through these senses, is also because of this consciousness. So Shukram, my nature as consciousness, I the self, my nature as consciousness, enables me to have experience. What experience? All experience. In Sanskrit, anubhava, anubhuti, all experience. I am suffering so much in life. How do I know that? Because you're conscious. I'm having a great time. I'm enjoying myself. I'm so happy. How is that possible? Because you're conscious. All our life, whatever we call our life, fulfilled, unfulfilled, struggle, terribly unhappy, all good things in life, and even then, and also all the problems in life, everything is experienced because you're conscious. So this is an essential discovery about the self, that it is Shukram, it is the shining one, Deeptiman, Jyotishmat, it's like light. Another way of understanding consciousness, indeed, in the Upanishads, is the example of light. The Upanishad calls it the light of lights. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, Jyotisham api tad jyoti, it is the light of all lights. What is a light? A light is something that reveals things which were hitherto in darkness. So the room is in darkness, and I switch on a light, and suddenly the room is flooded with light, and I can see the room. That which was in darkness is revealed by light. So light is something that reveals things which are otherwise not revealed. But even this physical light, it cannot reveal anything to me unless my eyes are working. So this physical light, the electric light or the moonlight or the sunlight, the light of all these physical lights are my senses, are my eyes. My eyes are the light of these lights. Because without these eyes, the other lights cannot reveal anything. The other lights are revealed by the eyes. The eyes are the light of the light. Not only eyes, ears, other senses also. But these senses, the eyes and the ears and other senses, they cannot reveal anything unless the mind is connected to them, unless we are paying attention to the information brought in by these senses. So the mind is the light of all the senses. The senses are the light of the external lights, and the external light is the light of the world, sunlight or moonlight or whatever. So mind is the light of all the senses. But the mind itself is revealed by consciousness. You're aware of thoughts, of memories, of desires, of even the ego. Therefore, the mind is revealed to me. So the consciousness, this consciousness is the light of lights. Shukram, the light of lights. Also, another meaning is Swayam Prakasha, Swaprakasha, self-luminous. Shukram means self-revealed or self-luminous. What does self-luminous mean? All right, so everything I know because of light. Things which are not known are known because you illumine them with a light. Physical light reveals the world in darkness, is revealed by physical light. Our senses and mind reveals the physical light and the world. And our mind, senses, and the world, everything is revealed by consciousness. But now let me ask, how is consciousness revealed? There's nothing else to reveal consciousness. Consciousness is the ultimate light of lights. But how is consciousness itself revealed? How do we know that we are conscious? How do we know that consciousness exists? See, the world exists here. I can see all of you because of the light. But the light itself exists. I can see how? Because of my eyes. Because of my eyes. My eyes exist. How do I know? Because of the mind. My mind exists. How do I know? Because of consciousness. But consciousness exists. How do I know? How do I know? One way would be the usual way I say is, because we are aware of things, things appear to us, because we are having experiences, therefore I am conscious. Consciousness illumines, that's why we are having experiences. But that's also indirect, and that's not entirely true. We don't do that. We don't check, Am I having experiences? Okay, then I am conscious. No, we directly say I am aware. I am conscious. I am. Not by checking whether I am having some kind of experience or not. I am aware. It is first revealed and then it gives us experiences. Light reveals itself and reveals everything else. Similarly, consciousness reveals itself, its own existence. I am. So this I am is revealed. This self-revelation of consciousness is called swaprakasha, self-luminosity. And this is a very technical subject. Why? Because a thing cannot operate upon itself. Self-reflexivity is not permitted in philosophy, in grammar, in day-to-day activities also. A knife cannot cut itself. So a thing cannot reveal itself. It requires something else to reveal it. Thing cannot operate upon itself. So consciousness reveals everything, I can accept that. But consciousness reveals itself. How? So it does not reveal its, according to Vedanta, is the unique thing about consciousness. The term they use is swaprakasha, self-luminous. It's shining, everything else shines. This idea comes from the Upanishads. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam, tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. That shining, everything else shines. By its light, everything here is lit up. By its light, everything here is lit up, we just saw now. Consciousness shining, the mind is lit up. Mind being lit up, the senses are lit up. The senses being lit up, we experience the world outside. But the deeper understanding of consciousness is the self-luminous nature of consciousness, that it reveals itself how. This swaprakasha, self-luminosity, this topic is dealt with. It's trying to understand this line in the Upanishads. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. That shining, everything else shines. So that shining, what is that shining? What is the shining of consciousness? It goes to the very nature of what consciousness is. Nothing else is like consciousness. Nothing else is self-luminous. Only consciousness is self-luminous. It is self-revealed. Now, how do you define this? I mentioned it earlier also. I will quickly mention it here. In Vedanta, texts have taken up this challenge. How do you define the self-luminosity of consciousness? Basically, this is defining the very heart of consciousness itself. What, in its essential nature, what consciousness is. And you're trying to provide a definition. To provide a definition for this is extraordinarily difficult. There is a text called Tattva Pradipika. Tattva Pradipika, the lamp which reveals the principles of reality, or the lamp which reveals reality, Tattva Pradipika. Now, it is more famously known as Chitsukhi, named after the master who wrote it about 800 years ago, Chitsukhacharya. There, one of the topics, it's a very difficult book, one of the topics which is dealt with is this definition of self-luminosity. And the author provides no less than 10 definitions. 10 definitions of self-luminosity. Why 10? Because each definition is found to be defective. And he repairs the defect and provides a second definition and a third definition. Each one is found to be defective on some account or the other. How it is defective, what are the problems? That's a huge, huge subject, and very difficult and subtle subject. But why am I bringing it up? I'll present to you the final conclusion. The final conclusion, the final definition, the accepted definition of self-luminosity in Vedanta. And this is important because this is the accepted definition of consciousness in Vedanta. This is one way of defining consciousness. What is the definition? Avedyatve sati aparoksha vyavahara yogyatvam. Avedyatve sati aparoksha vyavahara yogyatvam. What does it mean? Avedyatva. That means not being known, not being an object of knowledge. What is consciousness? Itself never being an object of knowledge. Avedya. It's not an object of knowledge. Itself never being revealed, illumined. However, it is fit to be. It is suited to be designated as directly experienceable. Aparoksha vyavahara yogyatvam. The word used is very precise definition. Yogyatvam, fit to be. The word you find in Bengali, Hindi, many Indian languages, yogya. In Bengali, we will say joggo. Yogyatvam, fitness, which has the fitness of, where you can put the term directly experienceable. Or even more precisely, aparoksha vyavahara, the term not non-indirect, or not indirect. So not indirect. What is directly experienced? To make the definitions, pratyaksha, that which is seen, heard, smelled, tasted, touched, whatever is an object of perception is called pratyaksha, directly revealed to by our sense organs. What is beyond our sense organs? What I cannot see, I must read about it. I must see in Google Maps. I must go to the encyclopedia or ask, Google or Siri. Indirectly, that is called paroksha, beyond the range of our senses. So our knowledge is basically of these two types: what is directly revealed to our senses and what is beyond the range of our senses. Beyond the range of our senses, we need authority. Authority means some other source is revealing it to us. It could be Google, it could be a professor, and or it could be religion. How do I know heaven exists? I don't have any direct perception of it. I didn't see it. But I can use authority. I can use my religious texts who says that there is a place called heaven. I know. It's not that I do not know. I know that there is something called heaven. How? By the holy book. Whether you believe in it or not, that's a secondary thing. But the information has come to me from this holy book. So this is called paroksha, beyond the range of our senses. Our knowledge is of these two kinds, pratyaksha and paroksha. But my own existence, that I am, how do you know that you exist? Right now, if I'm asked, are such and such people there in the class? I have to look. Let me look on the computer and I can see that these people are there in the class. And then I will tell you, yes, he is there. She is there. If you ask, how did you know? I'll say, I saw them. That's why I know they are in the class. Or indirectly, maybe after the class, you may ask somebody, did you notice that person in the class? And that person may tell you, yes, that person was there in the class, or they were not there in the class. Now, about my own existence, if someone asks you, were you there in the class? Are you there in this class now? You will not say, let me look in the computer. Yes, I see my face, so I am here in the class. You'll never say that. You know directly, I am here. I am here. I don't have to think about it. You will never say, let me ask somebody, do you see me in the class? Yes, I see you. Then I must be here in the class. You never use pratyaksha or paroksha. Never use perception or indirect means of knowledge for ascertaining your own existence, your own presence. Our own presence to ourselves is directly revealed. It is not revealed by perception. It's not revealed by indirect means also. So this is called not indirect, aparoksha. Why not say pratyaksha, direct? Because direct means perception. So your existence right now is not revealed by perception. It is not revealed by indirect means, paroksha. It's not pratyaksha, it's not paroksha, it is aparoksha. The literal translation will be not indirect, not indirect. Now, what is the definition of swaprakasha, self-luminosity? Itself not being an object of knowledge, it is yet fit to be designated by the term not indirect. Avidyatve sati aparoksha vyavahara yogyatvam. Try to apply it, you will see it fits. Are you always experiencing yourself, aparoksha? Yes, when you're called upon to do so, you will say, yeah, that's true. I am like this. It's fit. Consciousness is fit to be designated by that term. Anyhow, we are going afield. The term we're trying to explain here is shukram, shining. Then if I am this consciousness, but what am I not? This consciousness has to be distinguished from what I normally think of myself to be. It says here, Akayam abranam asnaviragam shuddham. So it says akayam literally means bodiless. Avranam literally means not injured, without any injury. Asnaviram, sinews or tendons or veins or nerves, connections, which basically the way the body is stitched, without that. And shuddham, pure. Now, these terms are the negation of our identity with the physical body, subtle body, and causal body. So, for this, we have to depend on the Shankaracharya's commentary. Akayam, literally it means bodiless. Shankaracharya says, reading it together with all the other terms which are in association with it, Akayam means without subtle body. What is subtle body? Our mind, our intellect, our memory, plus the prana, plus the sensory powers, Sukshma Sharira, the subtle body. That which came into this body when it was created as a fetus in my mother's womb and became this baby, that which will leave this body when this physical body dies, that subtle body, Sukshma Sharira. And it says, what is the self? It's not the subtle body. What else? Abranam asnaviram, without any injury, without any, sinews, tendons, nerves, all these things which, if you look at the body, the whole body is sort of knit together with muscular connections, with the nervous system is knit together by nerves, the circulatory system is knit together by blood vessels. So like the network in this body which is there. If you examine the body closely, there will be a fine network of these connections. And this is snaviram, asnaviram, which does not have these, which is not this body knit together by these connections. I'm reminded of Sri Ramakrishna when he was becoming sick. He had visited the museum in Calcutta. Somebody had taken him to see the museum in Calcutta. And there was a skeleton, a human skeleton on display. And the skeleton was, of course, held together by wires. All the bones were held together by wires. And Sri Ramakrishna, seeing that, he prays to the Divine Mother. He would connect everything immediately to God. So he prays to the Divine Mother that this body is falling apart like that skeleton. Oh, Mother, tie it together, keep it together for some more time. This physical body, it's falling apart. It's going to die soon. So please tie it tightly, keep it tied together. The physical body is tied together by this snavira, or this sinews, muscles, tendons. By denying these two, vrana, injury, snavira, this tendons or muscular system. By denying these two, Shankaracharya says what the Upanishad wants to say is that you are not the physical body. You're not the physical body. These are characteristics of the physical body. You're not the physical body. And then Shuddham, pure. It could mean anything. Shankaracharya says it means you are not the causal body also. The core impurity. Shuddha means pure. What is impure? The core impurity is ignorance. It is from ignorance of our real nature that whole of samsara springs. So what we're trying to do in spiritual practice is to remove this impurity of ignorance. Now this ignorance, where does it lie? Its location is the causal body. So Shuddham, the self is pure. It does not have ignorance in it. Therefore, it is not the causal body also. Now by these words, Akayam, Abranam, Asnaviram, Shuddham, by these terms, the three bodies have been negated. Sukshma Sthula Karana Sharira Rahita Atma, the self is devoid of, is independent of, is free of physical body, subtle body, and causal body. You are pure consciousness. This is what Shankaracharya sings. Mano buddhya hankara chittani naham. So when he says, I am not the mind, not the intellect, not the memory, not the ego, what are all these? These are all part of the subtle body. He goes on to say, Nacha shrotra jivbhe, nacha grana netre. I am not the powers of seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, hearing. What are these? These are sensory powers. And these powers, the physical senses are in the physical body here. But the powers, they are part of the subtle body. So when you put these two lines together, which I just chanted, these two lines, they deny that I am the subtle body. I am not the mind, not the intellect, not the ego, not the memory, not the sensory powers. So all of this, Shankaracharya says in this Upanishad, has been said by the term akayam. You're not the subtle body. You're not the physical body also. This physical body, it changes, it grows and ages and dies. It is an object of experience. It is not conscious, and we are conscious of it. For all these reasons, all these insights, we see that we are not this physical body. We are not the subtle body either. And even more potent, we are not the causal body either. The causal body is what we experience in deep sleep. Now, it's very profound. We look at it a little further. All our experience is in the waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. Our whole of life. The waking state is predominantly a physical state, a gross state. It is through the physical body that I experience this waking universe. It's a world of matter and energy, time and space, a physical universe, experienced through the medium of a physical body. So when the Upanishad denies the physicality of the self, it denies that I am this physical body, and it denies this physical existence. That it says this is an appearance, this is not, this embodiedness is not the real nature of the self. When the Upanishad denies the subtle body, this is so radical. Upanishad denies the subtle body. Our entire life, the life of the mind, the life of the intellect, the life of emotions, feelings, thoughts, creativity, understanding, comprehension, memory, desire, enjoyment, suffering, all of these are mediated by the subtle body. The life of this subtle body is most vivid in dreams, swapnavastha. And the Upanishad denies that also. Does not deny that it exists, but says it is not your real nature. It's not your real nature. It's like the physical body is the outer garment, the subtle body is the inner garment. The sukshma the sthula prapancha, the physical universe, and sukshma prapancha, the subtle universe, these are what are experienced in the waking state and the dream state. It says that the self is free of them. We have a life of the mind. We have a life of creativity we have a life of emotions of the heart. We have a life of memory. All of these are there, but they do not define you. You are free of them. The subject in itself is not a mind. It puts on the vesture of a mind. It puts on the garment of a mind, but you are not literally a mind. Very big things. And then further, it goes even further. Causal body. The third kind of experience which we have, physical experience, subtle experience, waking experience, dream experience, deep sleep experience. It is called the causal state. It is basically a blankness, an utter blankness, where subject and object seem to be merged. They are merged. There's no distinction. I am experiencing deep sleep. That is not deep sleep. We will never have that kind of an experience. It's only after waking up that we describe it. But in deep sleep, it is a utter blankness. The blankness is, however, not a void, because the deep sleep has all the seeds of our waking and dreaming. It is succeeded immediately. After deep sleep, what happens? You wake up. You wake up and you're still the same person. As Americans say, you're the same dude. So all the old personality traits, the good and the bad traits, all of them are there. Our memories are there. Our character is there. It's the same thing. So the deep sleep was not an utter void. It was more what is called a causal state, a potential state. In Sanskrit, it's called bijavastha, a seed state. But Vedanta says, Upanishad says, you are not even that. You are free of that also. So these are the three bodies: physical body, subtle body, causal body. They are our means to three kinds of experience: a gross physical experience of a physical universe, a subtle experience of the universe of mind and emotions and thoughts and dreams, and a causal body where all of these are in seed state. And Shankaracharya sings that na tejo na vayu na bhumi na apo. That is, I am not the physical universe made of the five elements. I am not the subtle universe of our senses and our mind and intellect and ego. Then what am I? Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. I am of the nature of pure consciousness and bliss. I am Shiva. I am Shiva. This is based on exactly this line in the Upanishad. The self is not the body. The self is not the mind. And the self is not the seed state beyond the body mind, which is experienced in deep sleep. You are free of all of them. And if you're feeling vertigo, then what am I? At least if I'm the body, I know what I am. I'm here, I'm this physical body. If I'm the mind, I know what I am. Then I can say I am this person. But if you deny that, these are just outer coverings. These are just vehicles for me. They are sharira, bodies for me. Physical body is a body, subtle body is also a body. The mind is a body. Then what am I? He says, Shukram, you are light shining. You are awareness itself, existence itself. And unlimited, that's the meaning of Pariyagat, which has gone everywhere, whose boundaries, there are no edges to this consciousness. This consciousness, this awareness is limitless. All of this in the first line. This is the description of the self, of Atma. Then what else is there? Shuddham, this is so devoid of physical body, subtle body, causal body. Apapavidham, untainted by sin. What does this mean? Punya papa karma rahita. That means you are free of the law of karma. You are not tainted by sin, means you are not affected. You are not subject to the karma phala, the effects of good and bad actions. Neither the good and bad actions are yours, nor are the results of good and bad actions yours. See, this is spirituality. Spirituality is transcendence of law of karma. When we keep talking about karma, karma is something very fascinating. People are very fascinated about karma in Buddhism, in Jainism especially, Hinduism also. Hinduism, Sikhism, Buddhism, Jainism, all these systems of Indian thought, of Indian religion, they all take karma as axiomatic, that this is true across the board. Whatever your other metaphysical beliefs, karma and reincarnation, karma and punarjanma, karma and reincarnation are common to all of these, except the materialist Charvaka. And here he's denying that. He's saying that you are actually free of karma. In fact, spirituality is freedom from karma. What is karma? Every action has a result. Actions have consequences. All effects have causes. So Vivekananda's formulation, good, good, bad, bad, and none escape the law. Whosoever wears the form, wears the chain too. What's the form? The body. It will have a chain. What is the chain? Our past karma. It will keep on giving results. The result is in the form of this body and this life. Once this is exhausted, all accumulated past karmas, a portion of that will become activated and it will give rise to the next body and the next life. And I, through my subtle body, riding on that subtle body, the vehicle of my subtle body, I keep on experiencing life after life. This is karma. And this is samsara. Karma is bondage. All of these systems of all spiritual systems across Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, they have one common feature. They believe in karma, they're based on karma, and their goal is to transcend karma, to break out of karma. All of them, they can be defined in this way, whether they are bhakti systems or Vedantic jnana systems or Patanjali Yoga's meditation systems or Buddhism or various schools of Buddhism, Jainism, all of them have this central feature. They want to transcend karma. This is not usually understood. It's not usually understood that this is what is going on in spirituality. In karma yoga, in bhakti yoga, in raja yoga, in jnana yoga, one common thing is you're trying to overcome karma. You're trying to get freedom from karma. You can't run away from karma. Vivekananda says you can't run away from the machine. Understand how the machine works, and the machine itself will learn how to work the machine, he says. Learn how to work the machine. The machine itself will set you free. What is learning how to work the machine? There's a huge thing involved here, but I'll give you the seed of it, the essence of it. Going from instinctive life to an understanding of karma, becoming very careful about karma, then you become a civilized person, a human being. From an animalistic, instinctive life to a human being, from the life of the jungle to civilization. That is learning to work the machine. Stage one, that is karma. But that's not spirituality yet. That is karma. I will do this, I will get that. Earlier, what was there? I want it, I'm trying to get it. And I will fail, usually. Unless I put in what the effort necessary, I will not get the result. Putting in the effort necessary, the good karma, generates the punya, which will give me the result I want. Through good karma, what are the results I want? I want kama, pleasure. I want artha, success and wealth in this life. I want swarga, heaven after death. All of these are produced by karma. They're all within the realm of karma. Good karma, you will get the pleasures you want, you will get the success you want, and after death, you will get the heaven you want. All temporary. All will come to an end. Because no karma is eternal. No karma is infinite. Every karma is limited, and the result of that karma is also limited. Every bad karma, no matter how horrible and naughty and mischievous it is, it will result in some pain and suffering, but both limited. And every good karma, everything is, the greatest of good things that you have, the greatest of sacrifices, the most altruistic things that you have done will generate a great result. Can propel you to heaven after death. Even that is limited also. That will also come to an end. So this is the realm of karma. So moving from instinctive life to a karmic, to a dharmic life based on understanding of karma. That is stage one of learning to work the machine. But then you want freedom from the machine. How long will you be caught in this cycle of birth and death, in this temporary set of lives generated by karma? You can rise out of bad karma by good karma, but good karma is also limiting. It is still, Vivekananda put it this way: the chain made of gold is no less strong to bind. Chains may be of iron, chains may be of gold. The chains of gold are no less strong to bind. They still bind you. They will still limit you. They will still drag you from life, birth to death, and death to birth again. Drag you across lifetimes. That's your own karma. So the wise one will seek freedom from karma. Is there any freedom from karma? Is there something higher than karma? And the one answer of Upanishad, and indeed of spirituality in general, yes, there is an ultimate reality. Yes, freedom is possible. Yes, moksha is possible. Nirvana is possible. Apavarga, nirvana, moksha, mukti, salvation. These are possible. It is in fact not only possible, this is the goal towards which we are moving. And unless this is there, what happens is, this ultimate reality is there. This is often hidden from us. The ultimate reality is hidden. Atman, Brahman, the possibility of moksha, freedom, the possibility to an end to causality. Freedom from, this is the philosophical way of putting it. Freedom from causality. This possibility is hidden from us. This hiding of Brahman, Atman, is because of what is called the avarana shakti of Maya, the veiling power of Maya. That there is an ultimate reality, that lasting bliss is possible, that limitless peace and joy are possible. This is hidden from us. So that hiding power of Maya is called avarana shakti, the veiling power of Maya. And the whole purpose of Vedanta is to pierce through that veiling power of Maya and to show us, yes, it is possible. Otherwise, what happens is, often very intelligent, very sensitive people, philosophers, poets, artists, they penetrate through the tissue of the appearances of samsara. They see that this is inherently worthless. At some time, they begin to see that there is nothing very worthwhile here. And yet they do not see anything ultimately real. Some people are like that, very often very sensitive people. Then they become nihilist. I was reading, why I'm saying this, I was reading this poet who had a great influence on the German philosopher Nietzsche. his name was, I think, Holderin or something. He writes, you see how we resonate. If you hear these words, you'll resonate with it. He says, it is all nothing. We have come from nothing. We work for nothing. What we love is nothing. And slowly we are making our way to nothing. Now this is, you see, this is intuition of that ultimate, there's no ultimate reality here. This leads directly to nihilism. But why? Why are you so convinced that it is nothing? This has come from a loss of faith in religion. That, what religion promises, I can't believe it anymore. Then what else is there? There's nothing really. All my reason seems to tell me, my intuition seems to tell me there is nothing really. Yes. Hölderlin, right. Friedrich Hölderlin. This is when I read that, I thought, yes, this is the veiling power of Maya, the Avarana Shakti. In contrast to this, Vedanta is the answer here, that there is something. And this, you don't have to take on faith. It can be demonstrated to you directly, enough to satisfy the demands of rationality, of logic. And then, of course, you have to realize it through your sadhana after that. So there's the answer. I have quoted this earlier also. The Indologist, Zimmer, he said, the philosophies of India are not pessimistic. They are, at the end, they are optimistic. They seem to draw a very negative view of samsara. But they are not, they don't stop there. They say there is something beyond samsara. Philosophically speaking, there is something beyond the law of karma. So that is the second stage of learning to work the machine, like Vivekananda said. What is that? Then you go beyond causality. Law of karma, causality, cause effect, action and consequence. Go beyond that. How do you do that? All spiritual practice. This is a wonderful insight. Karma yoga. What is karma? I will do this, I will get that. That is law of karma. If I do good, I will get good. If I do bad, I will get bad. This is causality. But what is karma yoga? I will do good. I don't want the good result. I will not do anything bad. And I will do only good. But I don't want your artha, kama, your heaven. I don't want your pleasure on earth. I don't want your success on earth. And I don't want to go to heaven after death. Vivekananda says, all heavens and hells do I renounce. Why? Because I am a seeker of infinity. Unless that infinity is admitted, then what Hölderlin said, it is all nothing then. That infinity is there. This is that Pariyagat, Shukram, Akkayam, Avranam, Asnaviragam, Shuddham, Apapavidham. That one is there. This is yourself and it is you. You cannot deny your own existence. So it is grounded in the most certain of all existences, that is your own existence. So you go beyond. Look at Karma Yoga. It takes you beyond the law of karma. You are doing karma, you don't want the result. That is, you are breaking out of causality. Selflessness, breaking out of causality. All genuine altruism, all genuine selflessness, it takes you beyond causality. All genuine love, bhakti yoga. What is our worldly love? Vivekananda calls it shopkeeping love. Whether it's love of other human beings or love of God also, in our worldly sense. I will love you, you love me back. I want something from you. I will worship you in this way. Oh God, you give me wealth, you give me power, you give me success. At least you protect me in samsara. So this is shopkeeping religion, Vivekananda called it. Shopkeeping love. But this love which takes you beyond causality. This love which is, that's why you say unconditional love. Does not matter who you are, what you do, what you think of me, what is your relation to me. My love is unconditional. It is for everybody, at all times, in all places, under all conditions. I give no condition on my love. Vivekananda said, what is the best possible life? Eternal love and service free, or unconditional love and service free. Best life. That unconditional love and service free, this is bhakti yoga and karma yoga. It releases you from causality. It will straight away take you to moksha. And jnana, knowledge. It reveals that yourself, you are apapaviddham, not tainted by papa of sin. It means you, yourself itself is beyond causality. This is what jnana reveals to you. Okay. Then it goes on to say, this very pure consciousness which you are, non-causal, beyond causality, not the physical body, not the subtle body, not the causal body, which is pure consciousness, which is limitless, paryagat. This one is Kavi, Manishi. Now it says this very pure consciousness with the physical body, subtle body, causal body is who? This fellow Sarvapriyananda. This pure consciousness without this limited physical body, causal body, subtle body, but in connection with Maya, the power of Maya, is who? God, Ishvara. I'll repeat that. Pure consciousness in itself, what is it? It's pure consciousness. In connection with one causal body, one subtle body, one physical body. What's it? Jiva, this being, you and I, each of us. This pure consciousness in connection with Maya. Connection here, I'm using the word, English word in Sanskrit, upadhi, with the upadhi. In the presence of Maya, this pure consciousness itself gets the name Ishvara, Bhagavan, the God of religion. The same pure consciousness. And the words used here are very beautiful. Kavi. The ultimate reality is called a poet. Kavi means poet. But this is the Vedic use of the word poet. Shankaracharya explains, what does poet mean? Krantadarshi, one who has seen to the end of things. Kranta, Atikranta, that who has seen all that is in the past, and by extension, all that is in the future, who has seen it till the very end, seen through to the bottom of things, to the end of things, to the past and the present. In other words, omniscient, all-knowing, which is a characteristic of God, the God of religion. But Kavi, and the Upanishad actually means it as a poet. In the Rig Veda, there is a very beautiful line. Pashya devasya kavyam yona jiryati mamara. What does it mean? Look upon the poetry of the Lord. The universe is called the poetry of God, poetry of Brahman. Pashya devasya kavyam. Look at the literal translation. Look upon the poetry of that shining one. Deva, shining one, literally, div, to shine. Look upon the poetry of pure consciousness. What is the poetry of pure consciousness? This universe, the same physical universe, subtle universe, causal universe. This is the poetry of Brahman, poetry of pure consciousness. Pashya devasya kavyam. What is its characteristic? Which neither decays nor dies. This immortal poetry of the immortal Lord. Look upon the immortal poetry of the immortal Lord. Look upon this universe. We never saw it. We thought this is my life. No, your life is the poem of the Lord. So, God is called the poet. And who is God? It's pure consciousness. What is that pure consciousness? It's you. Manishi, the controller of all. Isha means to control. Mana means mind. Manishi literally means an intellectual. But here it means that which controls all intellects. That same pure consciousness shining upon every mind as the reflected consciousness is the controller of all minds. So, Manishi. Paribhu, transcends. Paribhu means it is beyond, it transcends. It is upari, above and beyond. It is beyond space, beyond time, beyond causality, beyond object. It is not trapped. We feel we are embodied. It's not embodied. It is here in this body and beyond this body. It is here in this universe, beyond this universe. Paribhu. Swayambhu. Swayambhu is self-existent. So the huge amount of philosophy is involved in this. Everything here is contingent in this universe, is contingent and has a cause. If it's an effect, it has a cause. If it is a cause, it will have an effect. But this alone is beyond cause and effect. How does it exist? Everything exists because it has a cause. So if this is beyond cause and effect, it should not exist. No. Swayambhu, it is self-existent. It is beyond cause and effect. It is the only thing that has necessary existence. What is it? It is existence itself. It is being itself. Swayambhu, self-existent. being self-existent, it can now lend existence to the entire universe. All existing things, the physical, the subtle, and the causal, they depend upon this Brahman, this self, for their existence. They borrow. They have no existence of their own. On their own, they are void, they are empty. But they appear to exist because they exist on the ground of this Swayambhu, self-existent one. The self-existent one is neither cause nor effect. But all causes and effects they exist because of this one. They appear because of this one, this Swayambhu. Shankaracharya explains these two words together. Paribhu Swayambhu says transcendent. Consciousness, Atman, Brahman is transcendent, beyond time, space, object, causality, beyond everything. And yet, it is also what it transcends. A very beautiful line. I just read out. Paribhu, sarvesham pari upari bhavati iti paribhu, swayambhu swayameva bhavati iti, yesham upari bhavati, yascha upari bhavati, sa sarva swayameva bhavati, swayambhu. Very beautiful way of putting it. Whatever is transcendent and that which transcends everything, all of it is self-existent. So, Brahman is beyond the universe, beyond time, beyond space. But it is also that which it is beyond. It is also time, space, and this universe. Vivekananda if it sounds confusing, Vivekananda put it very directly. He says, we Hindus worship a transcendent, immanent God. I can make it even more simple, oversimplify. I like that ornament and gold example. So the gold transcends the ornaments because the gold can exist as gold. It doesn't have to be a necklace. The gold doesn't have to be in the form of a ring or a bracelet. So even when the gold is in the form of the necklace, it transcends the necklace in the sense it existed before the necklace came into being. It exists when the necklace is there. In fact, the existence of the necklace is the existence of the gold. And it exists after the necklace is melted. It will still be gold. So the gold transcends the necklace name, form, and transaction. Or this is Vyavahara, Nama Rupa Vyavahara, name, form, and activity called necklace. However, this gold also pervades, is immanent in the necklace. Where will you find the gold? In the necklace. In fact, the necklace is nothing but gold, more or less. I mean, I'm just speaking generally. So just as the gold transcends and is immanent in golden ornaments, similarly, Brahman, the ultimate reality, pure being, a pure consciousness, transcends the universe of time, space, object, causality, and is in and through. Whatever is time and whatever is in space, whatever is an object, whatever is within cause and effect, is also the same Brahman, is not different from it. This is the very, all packed into one word, Swayambhu. And you have to play it off with this other word, Paribhu, that which transcends, that which is self-existent. Then there's a very poetic expression. You have to read it together. Yatha tatyatu arthan vyadadat shashvatibhya samabhya. I wonder how he's translated it. Yes, we read it. That it is, he has duly allotted the respective duties to the eternal years. Shashvati Samaha, the eternal years. But what it means here are deities called Prajapati. Basically, the meaning of this phrase is that God allots duties to the other deities. Capital G God and small g God. There are many small g gods. There are gods in charge of matter, energy, radiation, in charge of life, of light, all of these. And the universe functions. Basically, today we would call them the laws of physics, the laws of the universe. But according to Vedanta, they are not just brute laws. There is consciousness behind them. There's an intelligence behind them. So that intelligence, the intelligences behind each one of these laws, the functioning of the universe, that is allotted by God, the God of religion, Saguna Brahma, Ishvara. So it ends by showing that ultimate transcendent reality is also the God of religion, who allots the functioning of the universe. So a lot of delegation is given here. What is delegation? When you give your job, the boss gives the job to the employees, the middle level management. The middle level management are the gods who run this universe. So when the gods run the universe, the God with capital G will not come and do that directly. If you delegate, you should let the person who have delegated do the job. Then you don't try to do their job for them. Once you delegate, the person who is in who has been delegated is allowed to do the job themselves. Similarly, there are these powerful deities called the Prajapatis, and God allots their powers and their activities to each of them, and they run the universe. They have been allotted their duties for eternal years, that is, for the millions and billions of years of the existence of each universe. But at the end of the universe, they are all absorbed back into the deity called Hiranyagarbha, and Hiranyagarbha is absorbed back into Ishvara, into Maya. Then the next universe begins, and there also there are new Prajapatis, new deities. But anyway, that's all cosmology. You might say this is all very theological. You may not believe in it. That's fine. But the principle here is the same thing which runs this universe. There is a principle and intelligence behind this universe. Behind that intelligence is pure consciousness, which is your own self, you yourself. So this is the final statement in the Īśopaniṣad about the nature of the self, about Atman, about Brahman. Now let me see the comments here. From the next class onwards, the remaining part of the Upanishad is dramatically different and difficult, we'll see. But it has little bearing on self-knowledge or spiritual, the realization that I am Brahman. That part is over now. The next part relates to the Karma Kanda, which has preceded the Upanishads. According to Shankara, there are huge differences in opinion. Aurobindo gives a very different interpretation, multiple interpretations of that next part. And so does Swami Vivekananda. And others also, multiple other interpretations are there. We'll take a quick look at those later on. Sanket Patel, the Aparokshatva Brahman, can it ever be experienced? Can it be ever experienced? Yes. Only in the sense that all experience is the experience of Brahman. Can it be experienced? Can it be seen, heard, smelled, tasted, touched? No. It's not an object of experience. So it is entirely beyond experience? No. It is in fact revealed in every experience. To those who know, those who are enlightened, for them, pratibodha viditam matam. Remember Kena Upanishad? In every experience, Brahman is revealed for the fully enlightened one. Full enlightenment is the experience of Brahman all the time, effortlessly. Not just in samadhi, not just with eyes closed. With eyes closed, certainly, with eyes open. By definition, it will never be experienced, only inferred by the mind. No, it is not inferred by the mind. Only in a certain philosophical sense, and the Nayayikas, the Nyaya school will say it's an inference. Vedanta denies that also. Vedanta says first it is taught to you by the Śruti, by Śruti Pramana, by the Upanishad. The Upanishad tells you, Vedanta tells you that there is such a Brahman. Otherwise, like Hölderlin, you might feel, the poet, and like many such great people, poets, you might feel there is nothing. Now the Upanishad comes and tells you there is something. The spiritually enlightened ones come and tell you there is something. Based on that, when you start searching, when the method of search is also given to you, then it becomes experience. But what experience? Aparoksha anubhuti. Not paroksha anubhuti, not pratyaksha anubhuti, aparoksha anubhuti. These are very powerful, they are very loaded terms in Sanskrit. Not perceptual experience, not indirect knowledge, but non-indirect experience. It's aparoksha anubhuti. Or let's put it very simply, immediately experienced, immediate in a technical sense, mediate. Our experiences are mediated through books, authority, or they're mediated through our senses. They're always mediated through our mind. This is the only thing which is immediate, not mediated through anything. John says, is awareness of amness same as self is aware of itself? Yes, the closest you can get is the I am. Somebody asked a monk recently, Upanishad says, Vedanta tells us, I am Brahman is that realization. Now, I am this guy, I am Sarvapriyananda, this I understand. But when you say, I am Brahman, what I am is that? What are you talking about? And the monk answered very directly. He said, I am, just that. The moment you add something to that I am, it becomes a jiva. It becomes body, mind, physical body, subtle body, causal body. But you just stop at I am. Even that also just points to Brahman. That points to the pure consciousness. Just the I am itself. Priya says, is Anandamaya Kosha part of the causal body? Yes, the Anandamaya Kosha is the causal body. John, does the cycle of experience start at causal body state, followed by dream state and gross state? Yes. Causal to subtle to gross. Sanket, how do Dvaita and Vishishta Advaita schools interpret this verse? It seems clearly to be Advaitic. Yes and no. Part of it seems Advaitic when you say pure consciousness, when you say transcendent, beyond everything, Paribhu, Swayambhu. But when you say Kavi, Manishi, Yatha Tathyato Arthan, Vyadadhat, Shashvatibhya, Samabhya, that fits very well with the dualistic conception of God. So the Upanishads, they're very slippery that way. You can't pin them down that it has to be only Advaitic and cannot be non-dualistic, cannot be, so only has to be knowledge, cannot be devotional. No, it fits all. It fits the non-dualistic path, it fits the dualistic path also. Rick says, great quote on karma from Padma Sambhava. Although my awareness is as vast as the sky, my attention to karma is as fine as a grain of barley flour. Yes. Very careful about karma. Sangeeta says the Ishopanishad stands first in the order of Upanishads. Is there main purport or significance to this? I know that it is first in the sequence in which it is taught, but I don't know of any other reason why it should be. I mean, the first line of the Upanishad is just sort of stands for all of Vedanta. Ishavasya idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat. That stands for all of Vedanta basically. Why else should it be the first? It is the first in the list of Upanishads to be studied. There's a verse, Isha kena katha prashna munda mandukya titiri aitareyam cha chandogyam brihadaranyakam tatha. 10 Upanishads. In Advaita Vedanta, we study these 10 Upanishads with Shankara's commentary. So in that list, you see Ishopanishad the first. But you notice I did not bring it in the first because, as you will see, it can prove to be quite confusing soon. But now we are well equipped. We will not be confused. We have studied, those who have been with us in this long journey, we have studied the Mandukya Upanishad with the Mandukya Karika. We started at the top of the Everest, top of the mountain. Then we are taking the scenic route. We went to Katha Upanishad. Then we went to Mundaka Upanishad. Then we went to Kena Upanishad. Now we are doing the Īśopaniṣad. But yes, that doesn't answer the question, is there any other reason why Īśopaniṣad is the first? I am not aware. Ramya says, kindly clarify Swaprakasha, self-revealing consciousness. It's better translated as self-luminous. The sense of I am aware, is it reflected consciousness and it's not pure consciousness? I am aware right now when we say it is reflected consciousness. No, notice this feeling of I am aware, it will go away when you go into deep sleep. It will go away when we go into general anesthesia. And in some forms of coma, it may go away. But that which is its source, that doesn't go away. This is like the mirror in which I see my face. If I remove the mirror, the reflected face will go away. So I am aware. That is the basic thing which is reflected. It will go away when you remove the mirror. But this face will not go away. But this face will not be seen. That's why it feels, those who are not aware of this face will feel that when the mirror is gone and the reflected face is gone, nothing is there anymore. Then you will say there is nothing. No, there is. There is the one who sees nothing. Girish says, in the causal chain, what is the first cause? Is that an erroneous question? Yes, it's an erroneous question. There is no first cause. In the causal chain, cause and effect, it is a beginningless chain. Vedanta says the beginningless chain can be cut down by realization of its underlying reality, which is Brahman itself. Anadi. Swampreet, you have raised your hand. You wanted to say something.
Maharaj Pranam.
Yes.
Maharaj, I had a question. Maharaj Sri Aurobindo talks about in his book, The Aces of the Gita, he talks about expansion of consciousness. So, as we have read in the Upanishads that Brahman is Nishkriya, so how can expansion of consciousness happen?
But there is no
Here?
concept of expansion of consciousness in Vedanta. That is his own innovation. What feels like expansion of consciousness, when you say transformation of consciousness, we use these terms: states of consciousness, transformation of consciousness, expansion of consciousness. From Vedantic perspective, these are all wrong. Consciousness being the absolute cannot be transformed, cannot be expanded, cannot have states. Um, so all states, all transformations, all expansion and contraction belongs to nature, belongs to Prakriti, belongs to Maya. What you feel as transformation of consciousness is actually transformation of the mind, of the personality. What you feel like expansion of consciousness is actually an expansion of our experience of the mind, of the senses. What you feel as the states of consciousness, waking, dreaming, sleeping, they are states of the mind. They are not really states of consciousness. States come and go. Anything that comes and goes cannot be the absolute. Anything that changes cannot be the absolute. Anything that's subject to expansion and contraction cannot be the absolute. But they are not distinct from the absolute either. This one has to be careful about. All states, all expansion and contraction, all transformations, good and bad, they're all there because of this absolute. Remember, Paribhu Swayambhu, the absolute transcends all of these. But because of the absolute, all of these seem to exist, or they can straight away say they exist. Their existence is the absolute, or is due to the absolute. Can't put it more directly than that. All right. This is a watershed, and you will see it's a point of inflection in our study of the Ishopanishad. There will be a dramatic change after this. All right, let me do the peace chant. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.